Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is trauma and looking at a massive transformation that can be brought about as a result of trauma and how we can move from feeling truly victimized to feeling empowered. So before we get started, let's take a moment to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding into your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, and bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, and creating this brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very softly rub your fingers against your palms to feel the deliciousness of that sensation and the tickling and the tingling, and allow that sensation to bring you present right here, right now, into your body, and with appreciation for this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to be here with you. I am excited about talking today about trauma. Many of us have experienced some very deep and profound traumas. And those traumas can be truly formative events in our lives. And I want to tell you that if you're, there you are, Rosalind. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. It's great to be here with you and with everybody else who's joining us. And if you guys want to add comments into the chat, go to the Enlightened World Network Facebook page, because those are the comments that I see. And I think I also see the comments from YouTube, from the Enlightened World Network YouTube channel. Good morning, Catherine. It's been a while. So good to have you here with us. Welcome. So we're talking today about trauma. And this arose as a conversation because I was speaking with a friend and prospective client about trauma and saying, well, you know, that event, that was a really traumatic event. And they said, well, how are you defining trauma? And I think that's a great question. I don't know that I have a definition. So you know what, I think I'm gonna go do my nerd thing here and go to the dictionary and see what the dictionary has to say about trauma. But let's see what it says. So trauma, as far as a pathology, a body wound or shock produced by sudden physical injury as from violence or accident. And in psychiatry, an experience that produces psychological injury or pain. And I don't know how many people get through life without trauma, right, of one degree or another. And we all have different thresholds for our experiences of trauma. So what I might experience as trauma, you might experience as a non-event. We all have different levels of sensibilities and sensitivities in, you know, in this arena. However, certain events, and they can be physically and or emotionally traumatic, become formative in so many ways. They become formative in that we often find ways to adapt and navigate life around that experience, to mold ourselves and shape ourselves, either to avoid that kind of circumstance again, or even feeling the feelings, or avoid looking at it, or hopefully avoid repeating it, things like that. We make a lot of adaptive behaviors around trauma. And many of those adaptive behaviors serve to further embed the experience. And many times victimization is coupled with trauma, where we feel very much at the effect of the experience, where we were victimized. Now, I think that there is a difference between victimizing or being victimized and feeling the victim. And here's the thing: when we feel the victim, we're feeling very disempowered, right? We're feeling helpless and powerless. And the transformation from that victimhood to empowerment is a quantum shift of being. It's a shift of consciousness from something happening to me to something being part of me, something helping to shape me, if that makes any sense. So when we feel as a victim, there's a helplessness around it. It's like the forces acting on us beyond our control. And the way that we can regain our sense of personal power and empowerment is by flipping that whole thing on its head. But it may be a mental machination. It may just be a mental fabrication to flip it on its head. However, that act of flipping, in which we'll dig into more deeply, is something that has power to shift our state of being. So Catherine says, thank you. Yes, trauma has taken its toll on me. After knee surgery, I died 3 times. I'm still experiencing effects of struggling to be me. Wow, Catherine, what a story. So I'm wondering if you had experiences from having died 3 times. So here, this is a really good example, and I hope that you can stay here with me through it to see, perhaps to see some possibilities that might not have been present for you previously. If we, and I know it's a stretch, especially when we've experienced deep trauma and suffering and pain, it's a stretch to imagine that there's a gift in it. So this is an exercise I did with my client group in one of our meetings, which was to say, remember a trauma and look for the gift in it. And Catherine, for you saying that you died 3 times, my awareness, I don't know if this is the case for you, but in many cases, people who have died come back with a very different awareness and a very much more expansive experience of what life is, what the universe is, what their being is, what their consciousness is. And so, again, in the face of trauma, it's really hard to imagine that there's a gift in these experiences. However, And I just ask you to indulge me, play with me here a little bit. What if all those traumas of our lives were something that we designed for ourselves in order to grow into the person we came here to be? And the transmutation of that trauma into something that shapes us in an empowering way, is a gift in that. So Catherine said, I did not have therapy, had to learn to walk. I do believe trials are blessings. Sometimes it's hard to find those blessings. Good morning, Elaine. Great to have you here with us. So we're talking about trauma and the gifts that are inherent in it. And even more than that, the transformation, the transmutation of that. Good morning, Robin. So good to have you here with us. The transmutation from trauma and victimization, victimhood, feeling victimized, and rightfully so. I'm not denying that there may have been a perpetrator, for example, of which you may have been the victim. And oftentimes our traumas don't even have a human perpetrator. But anyway, when we are experiencing victimhood, we're experiencing being at the effect of life beyond our ability to influence it. We're feeling disempowered. Catherine says, yes, I'm not sleeping, and this adds to my issues. So here's what's available, I think. And like I said, I know it's a stretch, and it means sort of stepping out of the experience of the pain and the suffering, at least for a moment, to look at it from a removed perspective, and to see yourself on the other side of the pain and suffering, to where we are. So one of the things that keeps us in the experience of victimhood is the question, like, the question has the answer in it too, but the question of why me? Why did this happen to me? Yeah, as like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Like, what did I do wrong to deserve this kind of thing? Why doesn't anybody understand? Those kinds of questions. Now, on the other side of that, there is the question why, that can come from, how does this serve me? How is this here to enrich me? What opportunity is available to me from this horrible thing that happened? Where can I grow from this? Who might this be calling me to be? And so Catherine says, no one believed me that I wasn't right. I'm so sorry, Catherine. It's to be in a space with where you're suffering and people don't believe you. That's also hugely challenging. Lisa says, Est had a lot to say about being a victim. Yes, exactly. But they kind of hollered at people to get them to stop being victims, as I experienced it anyway. But Catherine says, yes. And Lisa says, why me? Exactly. That question is a really big one. Good morning, Bernadette. We're talking about trauma and moving from a space of feeling victimized to a space of wholeness and empowerment. So when we experience ourselves as victim, what are we doing? What are we doing? We are, so Catherine says, just said the body will heal. And apparently it wasn't healing and you needed attention. And Lisa said, yes, they did. So I think when we look at this notion of victimhood, that feeds the trauma. Oh, yeah. Lisa said, yes, they did. They punished the people for being victims, hollered at people for being victims in the S training. Yes, like wake up out of your victimhood kind of thing. So Bernadette says, victim is punishment to ourselves. It is. It is. And there is a sense of, as I keep saying, there's a sense of disempowerment, of powerlessness, of hopelessness, of being at the effect of things beyond our control. And so we can be engaging with life that presents things that are beyond our control. And the difference between being a victim or experiencing victimhood versus experiencing empowerment is when we have the opportunity to take ownership somehow, even if it's through some kind of mental machinations, like I'm talking about, to say, well, what if, and I'm not saying this is true, but it might be a helpful place to come from. What if my higher self constructed all of this for me to become who I am, or who I came here to be? Now, I can tell you, when I was going through my deepest, darkest times, if someone had said that to me, I might have punched them, because it's like, why in the world would I do this, right? Why would I do this to myself? And the thing is that through these challenges, these profound challenges, we are forced to reshape ourselves. So Catherine says, it affects me emotionally. One bad nurse didn't help. I'm sure it has its impact. And I'm gonna talk a little bit further. Catherine says, you lose who you are. Lisa says, I allowed myself to become a victim for many years. You don't realize that you're doing that. You really feel it's other people who are causing this. Exactly. But so much was perception. Exactly. I'll never allow that to happen again. Beautiful, beautiful, Lisa. It's all perception. And Catherine says, I believe this. So here's I guess it was a YouTube that I saw the other day, and it was really pretty cool. And it was this guy telling a story about a mother and her two kids. There was a younger one and an older one, and they were at a dollar store, and they went around the dollar store, and the older one found this pack of glow sticks. And the younger one, of course, the older one had the glow sticks. The younger one wanted a glow stick. The mother opened the package, gave the younger one a glow stick. The younger one went from crying and screaming to very happy and bouncing around with this glow stick. And then they're in the line to check out, and the older one takes the glow stick from the younger one, breaks the glow stick. The younger one's screaming when the older one takes the glow stick away, but breaks the glow stick, and then the glow stick is glowing, and gives it back to the younger one. And the younger one is even more delighted than he had been when he got the glow stick in the first place, and just was so excited because here was this magical glowing thing now. And the moral of the story from this guy on YouTube was that sometimes we have to break in order to be able to fully shine our light. And so what happens through trauma is that parts of us get broken, and then we get to reconstruct ourselves. We get to rebuild ourselves. We get to recreate ourselves. And that breaking is devastating. That breaking feels like it might end us. And in certain ways, it does. And hopefully, it ends those parts of us that are not functional, that enables us to bring back, to come back, to recreate ourselves into a more whole and brighter, more brilliantly shining place. So it's not an easy passage. No one's saying it's an easy passage. I mean, it feels like it's just knocked you to your knees and you don't know how you can go on. And it's from that place that we get to be able to rebuild ourselves, to ignite our own light, and to evolve into, to grow into the expansion and expression of that light in the world. So Lisa says, I quit my job on Saturday. Lisa, congratulations. I know this job has been such a horrible challenge for you. So congratulations. Lisa says, my boss was putting me down, calling me names, etc. So I politely asked him to stop. He doubled down. I then said, I quit. It was so empowering. I stood my ground and stood up for me. That's so huge on so many levels, Lisa, because you're not only did you tell your abusive boss, but you also told the universe, you took a stand for yourself saying, this is what I stand for. I am no longer willing to accept that kind of treatment from anybody for any circumstances, including the illusion of security, at what price security. And so it's a beautiful thing to be able to take that stand. So congratulations. That's really, really, really huge. So Bernadette says that video was a perfect perception of how everyone can see the beauty of what we don't know. It really was. It really, really was. And Catherine says, I'm fully broken. So Catherine, I can so deeply relate to the intense pain and agony of feeling fully broken. And that's when we get to that, it gives us a unique opportunity to recreate ourselves from nothing. And it's not an easy process, and it takes tremendous courage. And I'm sure we all send you much love and deep caring and support as you move from the place of brokenness to allowing yourself to metabolize those experiences as something that is helping you to become more fully who you are and what you came here to do. And I wish that for you. And what I know about going through that darkness and that passage is that we can come to the light, that we can find our fuller selves through that devastating transformation. So it is a figurative death, and for some people it becomes a literal death. In your case, you died 3 times, and there's an opportunity for you. You kept coming back, and good for you. There's an opportunity for you to grow into the person you came here to be. And I wish you the strength and courage to do that. So Lisa says, replying to Catherine, it's amazing how life changed when you do, changes when you do, sending love, light, and prayers of strength. Elaine says, trauma is the flames of transformation. Exactly, the breaking down of all that no longer serves. Letting go of unworthiness is unworthinesses, and truly remember how to accept and love oneself as is. Yeah. So what happens is that trauma will keep coming until those patterns just break. And then we get to emerge from that. No matter the experience, this is Elaine continuing, no matter the experience or thinking about it, mine or others, it's what it is, and to release oneself from trauma with compassion, gentle, loving care, and discipline to move beyond the memories in the mind, so one does not need to relive it over and over again. Now is all there is, no past or future, only the present is real. True freedom is to move to the heart beyond the mind. And that's even when the heart is broken. I added that part, but Elaine, that was so beautifully spoken. Thank you. And Elaine, who has been through some very intense heavy duty experiences, said, I would not change one experience in my life. So truly grateful. And Lisa says, thank you. And Robin says, boundaries. And Lisa says, when I told him, my fellow employees were in awe. It was amazing. Woohoo, Lisa, that's phenomenal. Congratulations. Catherine says, lost all things that brought me happiness, hurting family that I love so much. Yeah, so maybe, and as hard as this is, Catherine, to be able to find other sources of happiness from within. And I know that sometimes, especially when you feel broken, there's no happiness there. I've been there. I not to say that I know what you're experiencing, because I don't. I know what I experienced when I felt completely leveled, and I could not find my way to happiness at that time either. So I feel for you very deeply. And Elaine says, to Lisa, congratulations on loving you. Beautiful. And Catherine says, thank you. God brought me here this morning. Well, then allow this to be a first step. Allow this to be something that you remind yourself of. Really important. So Catherine says, I do believe this. Catherine says, you fake being happy. So I know I've told this a million times, but I remember when I was going through these deep darknesses, I knew that if I changed my state, that, that was sort of key to being able to transform myself. And so I'd be crying in the shower and singing to just even lift my spirit, even just the tiniest bit. And to start to shift my physiology, to find any little thing that would give me some comfort, any little thing that would give me some sense of gratitude or appreciation or joy or connection. Nature, flowers have always done that for me. So whatever it is that it takes, Catherine says, need to lose memory. It's been 5 years. And Lisa says, repeat after me. I am enough. Beautiful, Lisa, beautiful. Catherine says, I need to lose memory. It's been 5 years. So I don't agree that you need to lose memory. What I think is that you need to allow yourself to be present to those memories and the feelings in your body without judgment, and to allow yourself truly to be present to those experiences. And as you allow that, without shame, without anger, without resentment, without judgment, like to observe it as a dynamic, to see how all these pieces have fit together to create this, to reach, like from a different vantage point, to sort of turn it around and see it from different angles without denying it, without repressing it, without resisting it. And what happens is you metabolize it. And in metabolizing it, what that means is it becomes part of who you are. And it just becomes an is. And when it becomes an is, it's no longer a trauma. And I'm not trying to oversimplify it or to pretend that it's easy to do that, to make that transformation. But it's when we're able to be present to what is, that the charge goes away. That the stories that we create, the interpretations, the meanings we assign to it can shift then. And the foundation is to allow ourselves to imagine that there is some crazy backwards way that we might not even be able to fathom in this moment, that all of this craziness and serves me, not as punishment, but to enrich me and to empower me. And so Elaine, replying to Catherine, says, the real you can't be broken. As the false self falls away, you will understand, beautiful, that love is all you are. And thank you for that, Elaine. It's all true. The false self falls away. And Catherine says, so proud of Lisa. Yes, I think we all are. And Catherine continues, I stay home just wanting to do nothing. I understand that. And there will be a time when you have the will to do something, anything, to go for a walk, to shift your awareness in one way or another. And Lisa, replying to Catherine, says, you'll get there. You can't go over it. You can't go around it. You have to go through it. And Catherine says, yes, yes, yes. And Elaine is replying to Catherine saying, congratulations, the willingness to see in face of these experience and face these experiences in our lives says that you are now ready to move to a real and true place within you, ending all suffering as we take full responsibility. This is a very powerful and beautiful place to be. Thank you for your courage and strength to get the work done, to know yourself as love. Again, really beautiful, Elaine. And this is the place that you are, Catherine. When you're at that place of bottom, this is, what's available to you is recreating yourself. So Catherine says, they want to give. So true. I do feel guilty. Life has stopped for me. And so it takes a radical choice, Catherine. And when life has stopped, it takes a radical choice to live. And then you get to discover what it means to live and what it means to live your life. So it's a radical choice, and it only takes a moment. In a moment, you can transform your life by making that choice. And you will have to revisit that choice again and again. It's not once and done, but it takes tremendous strength and courage, as has been said. And Lisa says to Elaine, Elaine, you always have the best words. It's true, she does, right? And Catherine says, medicine just makes you feel like a zombie. And we're all, Elaine is saying to Catherine, and sure, it's true for all of us, that we all are sending love. And Elaine says, love you, beautiful one. And Bernadette says it becomes a story opposed to baggage. Yes. So it becomes a part of what's formed us, you know, a part of what's shaped us, but not what defines us. And that's a really big distinction. And so if we let our trauma define us, we've created a box. If we have that trauma as something that's helped to shape us, then we recognize that we are so much greater than that. And Lisa says, replying to Catherine, I was there for over a decade. Mira knows my journey. The first step is the hardest. Start by finding one thing every day to be grateful for. You need to forgive yourself and allow yourself to begin to heal. Beautiful, beautiful words, Lisa, and wonderful prescription. You know, one thing a day, it's a start. And it all starts with a choice to live. That's the thing. It starts with the choice to live. Rubin says, if God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. Blessings. I never heard that before, Rubin. That's a great saying. Thank you for that. And Lisa says, Catherine, Mira's here with her wisdom and support every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's on weekday mornings. Thank you, Lisa. You're very kind. And Rubin says, you need to love you and create your happiness to find you. Beautiful, Rubin. And Elaine says, love you all. Have a lovely now all. Thanks for being with us, Elaine, and sharing your wise words. And thank you to all of you who are sharing your hearts so fully and authentically. And Catherine says, thank you all. Thanks all. I needed to hear this. And I think you did. You came to the right place. Maybe it's something to play over and over, to hear everybody's wisdom, to hear all the support, and to know that so many of us have been through really dark times and found our way through to a much, much more enriched and satisfying life. And it's available to you. It's possible. And it takes tremendous courage. So Catherine says, doing anything is hard. Yes, I am usually sleeping. Don't sleep at night. God bless all them. I don't know what that is, but yeah, just if you can get yourself to do one thing, focus on one thing a day that you're grateful for, you know, that will start. I don't know what you're saying there, Catherine. Sorry, can't translate it. Anyway, I think that this is it for this morning. Let's see, Bernadette says, when you have supports around you, like in here, you begin to feel you're not alone. Thank you, Bernadette. That's awesome. And it is true that, you know, there's connection. And, you know, as constrained as this relationship is, you know, it's this virtual field, at least we get to communicate. And Catherine says, God bless everyone here. Rubin says, seek and you will find, look for the beauty in each day. And Rubin, I'm so glad you said that. For me, beauty is the pathway to gratitude and awe and appreciation and love. Beauty is my gateway. So, looking at flowers, looking at minerals, I have this wonderful collection of rocks that I've collected over the years. Catherine says, thank you. No one except one person knows where I am. Well, I don't know if it makes sense for you to share that with other people, Catherine. Maybe you get to reach out for greater support. Rosalind says, ask the negative feeling what its intention is and what it hopes to gain. If it gets what it wants, then what? Is this breaking down the negative into parts that can be evaluated into emotions, feelings, and other parts? Wonderful conversation. Catherine says, I love nature. So take yourself into nature. Be anywhere that's going to elevate your frequency. And one of the things that I found really powerfully helpful was listening to or watching videos from Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, talking about bringing yourself to a higher frequency. Even if you're just raising it an itty bitty bit, then that gives you the ability to raise it a little itty bitty bit more. And, that's how we sort of climb up out of the darkness. Lisa says, looking in the mirror at yourself and finding that one thing you like about yourself each day. That's a beautiful practice, Lisa. Lisa says, I hug myself and tell myself, I love you every night. So Catherine says, we'll look for those videos. You just look up Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks. And there are a number of wonderful, wonderful videos out there. So with that, I'm going to call it a morning. I just want to give such appreciation and acknowledgement to all of you for being able to be present to someone else's pain. Many people can't. And it's a big deal that you guys are all here and being present and supporting someone else and moving through pain that I know you've experienced or you couldn't be present to it. So that's one of the gifts of these traumas, is that when we've experienced trauma and we've come out the other side, it gives us a knowing that we can survive it. And when we know that we can survive it, we know that others can survive it. And we can be present to them as they move through it. And that's a powerful gift. So with that, I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out the other awesome programming in the beautiful community at Enlightened World Network, Enlightened World Living, EWN One with the Earth. And until next time, so much love and appreciation to all of you. I hope to